wandering man. Guess I was born with a restless soul. I'd like to stay with you, but you know I gotta go. I'll see you next time I come back around. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. 'Cause baby, you know I'm a wandering man. Yes, I am.
Hello, welcome to the Simmons Says Show here from Studio 605. I am Jeff Simmons. Glad to be back over here in the Simmons Says studio, where I am joined by a man of the people, a proud grandfather, a proud great-grandfather now, a former alderman, a person who is a part of a lot of the youth sports in Warren County, a long-time employee of Candy Fork, and that is Terry Mullican. Terry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I think that we got plenty to talk about. You and I have already hit on a lot of things this morning, but I want to just say, one, I really appreciate having you here. I know we talked to Jimmy Walker last night. We're getting a little bit. I feel like we're having a very nostalgic week on the Warren County Way and on the Warren County Sports Authority, in the sense that I think everybody has a lot after the Hall of Fame ceremony on Saturday. I think it just got everybody's stories coming back up to them. And I know you have some ties to that '92 state championship baseball team as well, because I believe your son was out there in center field.
He was center field, yeah.
Yeah,
he caught the last ball to win it.
Did he keep it, or did he?
I don't know. I don't have it. So.
I've always wondered, I was like, who got the last? I think I remember when the Braves won it all, and Freddie Freeman caught it and immediately tucked it in his back pocket. I wonder what.
He didn't do that, but I don't know.
I think he ended up running around and high-fiving Jimmy at one point.
That's right. Yeah, they all jumped into a pile. I'm not sure whatever ended up with the ball, but exciting.
Let's start right there, because last night Jimmy Walker told a story about during the state tournament, there was actually a very controversial play that your son would have been a part of. Did he vault over the catcher? Did he? I mean, what? It sounded like he just leapfrog a catcher, and there was a very big.
I think leapfrog was probably closer to right, because it was some kind of play. Everybody just had the heart. The guy threw it from one of the outfield and it threw a laser right to the plate.
Yeah.
And Jason was going to be dead to rights. I mean, there was no way he looked like it. And everybody just, oh no. And all of a sudden that catcher just kind of went low. Yeah. And Jason, I guess, recognized, well, I can't slide. I'm just going to jump him. And sure enough, he jumped him. And then I think one more step and he was at the plate.
Yeah.
Well, the umpire called him safe, and the coaches ran out and everybody, and they, what in the world, And of course we were glorious. Everybody was cheering.
Yeah.
Everybody, man, wow, yeah. And finally they agreed. I think that the complaint was he had gone out of the baseline, and you're not allowed to just run around and avoid the tag. But actually he really didn't do anything. I think the play, the guy went so low that it
Yeah.
was easy for him to get over him.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a leapfrog, but it was, yeah. And then went on to win the state tournament. So that, man, that was some kind of play.
Great run there again too. We were talking about that with Coach Jimmy Walker on the Warren County Sports Authority. You can go back and watch that on the Sports Authority page, catch it on Spotify, or you can catch it on the YouTube page at Studio 605, where you can catch all of our videos here from Studio 605. I want to also take time to thank our presenting sponsor here at the Simmons Says Show, and that is Mud Bums Family Sports Grill, where you can call them 507-2867. That is 507-BUMS, and get over there and get a plate, a lunch. You can get a meat and three for $10, or you can also get their lunch specials for $10, which is either a cheeseburger, a barbecue sandwich, or a cheeseburger, barbecue sandwich, or chicken tenders with one side and a drink for $10 as well. So go over there, and again too, it is wing night at Mud Bums tonight. So have a good time over there. You know, I'm glad that we started with sports, and particularly your kids in sports, because that is something that I know that a lot of people probably know you from your time at Caney Fork, and there might be people that remember you as an alderman, and there might be people there now. There's plenty of family members that probably just know you as Pa Terry,
Papa.
Papa. but for a lot of people, they probably owe a little bit of what they've been able to do as kids in Warren County to AYSO out there in Pistol Park, and you were a big part of that. So kind of give me a little bit of the background of how you came about being a part of that, because you grew up in Warren County.
Oh, yeah.
And
We were born and raised, both my wife and I, in Warren County.
Yeah.
Always been here.
And graduated right before the consolidation. So I'm gonna take a shot at were you city or central?
City.
City. Oh, now give me a little bit of a quick breakdown on how big. I mean, because I obviously I wasn't around back then, but how big of a rivalry was this? I mean, is this to this day? If you see anybody from Central, you kind of give them a little bit of, hey, you remember?
Well, I think we've gotten past that, but
50 years
because
later,
we don't remember. Oh, we remember the glory times.
Yeah.
I think we don't remember that, but they were definitely the molasses jug was a great, rivalry. I'll tell this story, and of course, it's a little bit of grandizing myself, I guess, somewhat. Mm-hmm. It was in the '69, and we were playing Central, and it was on the Central field, and Pedro Paz was their coach. And Pedro, everybody that knows Pedro, he's all in. He's fiery guy, and I got to actually work with Pedro later on as a part of the recreation. He worked some summer at the recreation department. Anyway, that game it was close, and they really were probably manhandling us a little bit around the field, but we made some key plays, and there at the end I had gotten a punt and I broke some tackles, and then later on we scored a touchdown. At the end of the game, he walked over and with a molasses jug and he handed it to me, and he says, I had everybody figured out but you.
Oh, wow.
So that was I'll never forget that, because that was a tribute, because of course I was 140 pounds wet, soaking wet, so I was not big, but I was fast, and so that was probably but anyway, I'll never forget that. And we went on there, and we had about a 50-50 year that year. We were okay. Although my sophomore year we went to the Kiwanis Bowl up in
oh wow,
and we played up there. So that's the only year we had a really good year. But I'll never forget the rivalry. Yeah, it was strong. It was strong in every sport, but that definitely was very strong.
Well, 69, you graduate, you end up going to MTSU. You and your wife were at MTSU. You told me that for a while right after that, you left the state, but it wasn't long before you were coming back. And in that moment, is that when the Civic Center was kind of getting built? And I'm sure you had your eye on that a little bit.
That's right. During the summer, for several summers, I was recreation director, and I ran the park. There was William Biles. I don't know you ever heard the story about William Biles checking out. That was part of what I did there for some years, and then I was over the water. I was over the pool and the rest of the park that was already constructed at that time. And then I was going to school, And so finally I graduated from college in 74, and they were already making the decision that they were doing the planning for they were just trying to get the final votes in the alderman and seating alderman, and then they did get it passed, and then they were going to build it, and I left thinking that in my back of my mind I'm going to, and I'd already been encouraged that to apply once it came available, because there was no full-time recreation in Warren County, period. Everything was geared around really the summer sports.
Yeah, you had a job for 3 months.
That's right.
you were the opposite of the teacher. It's like you worked all summer, but then had to find something else.
Well, then when I was in college, that's what my major was. I mean, that was my plan.
Yeah.
It was recreation was my major, and so I went to Waynesboro, Virginia, assistant recreation director up there, and it was a different recreation because it was year round, and I was tasked to be involved in designing the programs and stuff. And one of them was a soccer program that they had. And of course, I had no exposure to soccer. And so I relied on a lot of the commission and stuff, kind of helped me plan and stuff. And I was exposed to how it went. I studied it pretty well, and kids really loved it there. And I thought, man, it's good sport, especially for little kids. I thought, I'm a baseball man, so that's my favorite. But I came back. Once I did get the job, and the Civic Center was finally completed, I came back. I think it was 75 is when I started my job, and when I came back, that was in the back of my mind. I'm going to introduce it some way. Yeah. And of course, at that time, we're talking 51 years ago. 51 years ago. So at 51 years ago, soccer was definitely not something that was going around in Warren County. You may have had people that had moved here that was exposed to it, but not very many.
It'd be like trying to introduce like lacrosse, right?
Yeah, right. I remember that was Ben Banerjee. Ben's out. He of course he comes from India. I think at that point. Anyway, there was a few that had, but there were some. I think they were Norwegian. That sticks in my mind. And they were kind of an exchange program out here at the airport. Yeah. And they were. And then one day they were over in one of the baseball field, Babe Ruth Field, Sedlin Newman Field, I think now, but they were just kicking soccer ball around. And I saw them over there, and I went to them. I said, our community doesn't know anything about soccer. Would y'all be interested if I promote it, and we'll have a little clinic for kids, see if they'll be, see how many we get. Well, we did that, and then we did, I think, 2 or 3 clinics that year. And then the next year, they were still around, or they had a different group. And this time, we had a big turnout of clinic that we did clinic. So we introduced it for about 2 years. I'm using this from my memory, which is flawed somewhat. So some people can correct me. But anyway, then right at the end of the clinics, they said, well, all right, we're going to divide up in 4 teams. Of course, we were mixed, girls and boys. We tried to break the ages so there wouldn't be any injuries that would occur, and we had a few games, and it just went real well, and it was all on the Babe Ruth Field at that time. Well, the next year we'd say, well, we'll see if we can organize some small games, and so there was only the Babe Ruth Field, the Sam Martin Field, and the Dottie West Field at that time. Around that corner. Yeah. The other field was underway to start being built. But we were running into baseball at that time as well, because soccer got kind of a spring and fall sport. Yeah. So we were kind of mixing that up. And the soccer program was growing big, mainly at the lower levels, because the young children were really. And so we were trying, and we were busting at the seams. We were trying to, and we needed to move out, and we, of course, did approach the high school about using the high school field for our older kids. Yeah. And, of course, 50 years ago, that was niched in the bud pretty quick. Absolutely
soccer.
Yeah, Sharon, what in the world are you talking about? And so That's all right.
Yeah.
If I probably I would have been in the same boat, I guess.
It's probably Pedro coaching at that point. It was soccer.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, that would have been definitely neat. Anyway, but have it to be that around that time I took a job at Caney Fork in '77, and so I was still over the soccer commission because I'd kind of introduced it and everybody wanted me to stay there, so I stayed there for 10 years.
That was AYSO.
I had gone to it was AYSO in Virginia. When I came back, I stayed with them and went to several organizational meetings, and they helped me get organized. So we did start out as AYSO.
Okay.
That was a California-based soccer organization. They were well structured, and it gave us. And the good thing about that, they gave us the materials. Yeah. In fact, I've got one of the manuals and stuff that they send. It was it was coaching and refereeing, and it would give you step-by-step manuals and how to do these things. And we didn't have any of that.
Yeah, it was still AYSO up to when I was playing, which now that's been 20 years, 30 years ago now. But
it did a good job. It was a little bit costly, I guess, over time because then later on it was changing. Just we could handle it ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know that we. Certainly not as organized as they were. They very well organized organization at that point.
But at that point, sorry I cut you off there. But you're at Caney Fork. You're busting at the seams. So I'm assuming that was the time where we had to say we got to find somewhere. Because they're going to kick us out of the outfield over here.
That's right.
And
so someone approached me and said, "Would you consider running for an alderman?" I'm not going to say who proposed that because. I'm not exactly sure, but I think Charles was a big influence to me. And anyway, I decided that, I'll do it. I don't know anything about government. And certainly being a politician ended pretty quick because
one time.
But I actually did run for mayor later on, but that's a different story. But anyway, so I did, and I was appointed alderman. And I went to my manager at that. It was Joe Hammy, and I said, Joe, I'm going to run for alderman. Is that all right? Because I didn't want that to be an issue at Caney Fork because of the position I was holding there. And he got to thinking about it. He said, well, yeah, that might be an advantage to us. Of course, I didn't want to be an advantage. I just wanted what was okay. And so they did, but while I was there, I did push. I said, we really need something for these kids.
Yeah.
We need facilities. We're bursting at the seams, and there's always the pros and cons against that. But finally, looking for a piece of property in McMinnville for what would be needed for a soccer complex would be a real challenge.
Oh yeah.
And so we just could not find anything. Certainly not anything with any kind of cost efficiency there. So there was a piece of property out there, which I forget the name of that road, but
Balls Road.
Pistol, Marion Pistol was the owner of this property, and very nice. And Marion, really, really nice man. We did talk to him, and he told us about he felt the value of that property was. And, of course, that wasn't going to fit any kind of budget we were going to be able to come up with.
Yeah.
And so did some negotiating with him and said we would name that park after him if he would consider just lowering that. And he finally come down about half of what he had originally. And so it was a blessing. And we were able – it was almost like – God was planning it to me because we did not have to grade or do anything. We just went on that field the next year and played on it. And we just put some gravel on one side, and people parked over there, and we had enough fields, and it really was. And of course, today they bought the other section of because it was only about half of that we actually got at that point. They've bought the other section now, and of course, many more fields in there. We did put some lights in there later on as I was still with the soccer organization. And Caney Fork contributed, I'll say this, they contributed their time to that because that was a benefit to the community and county.
Yeah.
Of course, we had to pay for the lights and everything, but yeah, and it grew, and the program is strong today. I'm proud of the soccer program. I'm proud to be a part of that, and certainly that's not a one. I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
Even though I came in and introduced it, I had a lot of people that jumped in there and helped me, because it could have failed just as easily as it succeeded, and not one person can do that. And if I start naming everybody, I'll leave somebody out, because there was many that has made a big part, not only at the initial beginning, certainly since then.
Yeah, well, what you're saying right now really reminds me of a conversation we were having with Coach Walker last night, where we were talking about the baseball program and how seemingly on track it felt like it was in the 80s and certainly in the 90s when they win the state championship in 92. And how do we get that back? And he said something about how it's going to take the whole community to do that. And that's exactly what you're talking about with the building of that soccer program and that youth program. It took a community. It took some people with some ideas, but it took our entire community to do that. Do you look at youth sports in Warren County now and see a difference in the community buy-in in some aspects? Because I feel like I do sometimes. I go over there and I'm thinking, I don't know if we're doing this to where it's building for all of Warren County. I don't want to put you on a spot there, but what do you think about what we're doing now compared to what it was originally intended for?
That opens up a lot for me. I'm going to start with the baseball program, because that is certainly a love of mine and has been ever since I was started coaching.
Yeah, just had a grandson go to college too.
When I was over the recreation department and the baseball and all of that, the Dottie West field, we had 12 teams.
Wow.
1 year. 12 teams.
Yeah.
And it was strong.
Mm-hmm.
It was a strong program. And I've talked to you with us about this. This was a baseball town.
Oh, yeah.
And we put out every year we put out players. And of course, they began to do some traveling. But we incorporated, and that was one of the things that I wanted to try to do, is make sure those kids played in our leagues. We didn't want them to travel without our leagues, because it made our team stronger.
Yeah.
Divide them up. Anyway, that's another story. But then it just, we had a Babe Ruth team. There was 6 teams. We had senior Babe Ruth, and I think at one time we had 4. So you talking about baseball being strong? It was strong.
Yeah.
And then down through other levels, we started our T-ball at 6 and 7 year old. We didn't start them at 4 and 5 year old. I just
2 now.
yeah, I just well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but they were strong players.
Oh yeah.
But the coaches were involved. The parents were involved. The county commission was strong.
Mm-hmm.
The baseball commissioners were strong, and they kept that program strong. Then it just, I'm going to fast forward for 25, 30 years, all the way up to now. It's just a slow decline of investment into it. One of the key things, this is one of my pet peeves, is that every organization turned it over to the recreation department.
Yeah.
The baseball commission turned it over to the recreation department.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them have turned it over to the recreation department. Not that they can't organize it. I can organize it.
Yeah.
You can get a church league up right now.
Yeah.
We
just had a volleyball one kind of.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's organizing leagues. Not you can just say, all right, everybody apply today.
Yeah.
What's the incentive?
Mm.
What happens with the commission is, who makes up that commission? It's the parents. It's the people that really care.
Yeah.
That's who you need. You need them together, caring. You need them to say, hey, here's what we need to do to make this thing grow. Not to say, let's apply here, or we're going to have a clinic over there, or whatever, and just put out a flyer and no one comes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or nobody's brought into it, just like we've been talking about. You got to keep them involved. I realize that we've got kids that have been addicted to their phones or to the games, and you've lost a lot of that. And the parents no longer, they could got other things that they're busy. They got other things that kids are pacified. They've lost interest.
Yeah.
So getting their interest back is going to be an ultra, but you can get some of them back. The problem is too, is that we became, well, it's okay if they don't play. It's okay if they don't go outside. It's okay if we don't be a part of that. It'll be fine for them. Well, it's not fine. And one of the things that we talked about earlier, Jeff, there for several years ago, they decided they would upgrade the fields. And you talked about how much money they put in. They did. They really got the fields upgraded, and they locked every one of them.
Yeah, that was. I remember being a coach at that time. This was probably around 2012, 2013. That they spent, I think it was $900,000 if I recall correctly. And of course, now they have, I believe it's 7 fields over there. Okay, got Cat Walker, got the Mansfield, Hoover and Mulroney, Pete Holtz come in. They obviously have the 3 that they've always had, and they spent a lot of money, the dirt, leveling it, getting the outfields. And then I was like, that's great. Our fields are great. And everybody will say that. Our fields are fantastic compared to when you go to these places that are the clover leaf and there's no shade and there's no trees and it's just concrete around everything. I'm like, I don't disagree. And then but then like you said, the lock goes on it. And I'm coaching and I went over there and said, well, I was like, how do I get on the field? They're like, well, you have to rent it. So I'm a volunteer coach. I'm over here volunteering my time to coach. You want me to pay y'all to use the fields that are, city funded through taxpayer money? I was like, you're really pushing my buttons right now. Of course, I think I paid whatever. I think it's like $15 or $20 for an hour to do that. But it was very frustrating at that time. But I think the thing that really irritated me was, why do y'all lock it? And I think the number one was, well, people will vandalize it. It's like, it's a 4-foot fence. If they want to vandalize it, they'll jump it. I was like, the people that want to use it are going to treat it the right way. That's right. It has. There's been some frustration of, you want those. I mean, Jimmy Walker said it last night. The biggest thing that he remembered back in the day was people were just on the fields all the time. They had access to them. They used them.
That's right.
And I think in some aspects, and you were kind of there with the groundwork, I think that was what the entire idea was. When the Pistol Parks were built, when those fields were built, was we want the community to be able to use these. We want kids to be able to use this. Am I off track on that?
No, I want to tell you this story, and then I'll got several more stories to tell, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But I was over the baseball during the summer and the recreation department, and over the pool as well, and they just completed one of the lower parks. I think it was. And us finishing it, and we were getting the fields ready. We being the men, and they had gotten them ready. And I guess it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And Charles Jacobs came by, and he was over the recreation department at that time. And Charles said, "Terry, I want to talk to you." And he called me over, and he says, "Why is that field lined?" I said, "Well, they got games tonight on it and everything." He said, "It's 11 o'clock." And I said, well, we were just trying to get ahead. We had about 3 or 4 fields at that time we were preparing. Mm-hmm. He said, the kids can't play on it. I did not cross my mind at that point. I never, ever prepared a field till after 12 o'clock from then on. Yep. And because there again, his idea was let people play on these fields. And they did. Yep. Jimmy's exactly right. Not every one of them, maybe, but they get together and they play on the field. If you got it lined and locked, you've already said, no use coming over here. Yep. Don't come over here and be playing on it. We've got places we want you to play, but not here. Yeah. Not where actually the ball field is.
Yeah. Not where the bases are down and the plates there and the fences, everything. Not here.
That's right.
Not here.
Not here. You know, we're in the corner.
It blew my mind because you're exactly right. I mean, I remember as a kid, you respected the yellow sign. I don't know when they bought those little very small yellow signs. I still think they probably still have them somewhere in storage where it's because you're exactly right. When those fields were lined, you'd look out there on the pitcher's mound, and if you saw that yellow sign, you didn't get on the.
Right.
Now you might sneak out in the outfield, but you
Yeah,
did not touch
that's right.
the
You
dirt
did not.
anymore. But as you said, you start doing that so early, or like you said, just lock it. You can't use it.
Yeah.
But if you wait and have kids during the day that want to go over there and play until they're like, hey.
Well, in today, I don't mean to interrupt you,
No, go ahead.
Jeff, but today, like the Babe Ruth field and the Dottie West field, there's so few teams, they don't use it every night.
No.
Or every day. So there's lots of days and you still can't play on it unless you got it reserved.
Yeah.
I don't understand all that. Went over to Pistol Park, went by there today. Of course, it's all locked down. You can't. There's a gate there and all locked up. And some of that I understand because now they've built a facility there, and it would be vandalized most likely. But if they just left it fields, you could go out there and you could play soccer and everything. I don't know. I don't blame anybody. I think it's the buy-in, and it's always somebody says, all right, we had this happen. They say, well, what's the way to solve it? Lock it up.
Yeah.
Lock it up. That's how we'll solve it. We'll lock it up.
Yeah. Well,
You know, and then you say, well, that we've taken care of it. We've taken care of it. It's always a way to figure out not to do it. So, let's don't figure out how we can keep it going. Let's figure out, well, we'll just not do it.
Yeah, restricted access is one of the things that you would hope would be the last thing you would want for fields that are for the kids of the community. I mean, there's 7 fields over there. We talk about it all the time. I mean, these kids are going out. You brought that up. Everybody's traveling now. We should be a destination place for travel, not us going all the time and leaving. We have because I think that might be the most frustrating part about it for me then, and it's still frustrating for me now. Is we have really nice fields.
That's right.
We have a really nice complex.
That's right.
It should be used all the time.
All the time.
And it can get a little bit of frustration there. Do you feel like you just brought it up? Everybody kind of gave the leagues back to the Parks and Recreation Department. And you said you were absolutely right. The timeline kind of went through. I think baseball was the first, and I think that was around 2015, 2016, maybe 2014. Basketball followed. It had been JC's run for a long time. Then it goes over there, and then I think soccer has even made that switch over from a community organized league to a Parks and Recs league. Do you feel like that's something that needs to go back to the communities potentially?
Yes, I 100% feel that way, and we need to bring out the thing. It was back when I was younger and over the recreation department. I didn't have any trouble coming up with commissioners and people that really wanted to be involved.
Yep.
I recognize probably down through the years they got less and less interest.
Yep.
And because it's always easier to say it, but if you can get your kids to buy into it, and really you buy into it with your kids, because what's going to happen when your kids move on, you're probably ready to move on too.
Yeah.
And so your commission keeps turning over. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good thing, but you've got to keep them involved. Is it going to solve all the problems? No. Is it going to just jump right? But you've got to get who is interested. Get them involved, and see, let's make this grow. Let's make our kids, I don't know, be a part of something out there, and I guess get outside a little more or be involved. Talking to someone the other day, and he had mentioned that he was glad his son was playing golf because at least he was getting out, not playing on a game or on a machine at home, because that's where he would be.
Yep.
And seeing that, how many kids we got like that? And
more and more.
And I regret that time, and that time is here, and I've seen it change down through a number of years. But hopefully that would help. It won't solve everything, but I think the recreation department is pretty well staffed. I think they got 8. I looked up today that they got 8 department heads in the recreation department, besides, in the director. And then I don't know how many people they have on staff, and they do a good job.
Yeah,
I'm not good, and I don't think anybody's debating that. but it's too easy to turn it over to them. And it's too easy then to just say we'll just let them take care of it, and that's what has happened. To get it back is going to take a major effort.
Yeah,
and it's going to take some real interest.
I use this analogy with it all the time, and I think that's a great thing to point out. This isn't. I would never say that I'm trying to attack the Parks and Recreation Department or anybody that works in it for saying that they're not doing what they need to do. They're doing exactly what they're trying to do, which is they get the fields lined every single day. They offer the leagues. They get everything organized. They put it out there. I think the difference between that and what would be a community run is the community run one is we will not let this fail.
That's right.
This is not going to fail. We have enough people in place. We're going to go get those 10 kids that are saying, hey, I can't afford it. We'll find you a way type deal. Whereas in some aspects, the Parks and Recreation Department, I think that's a huge ask for them to say, not only do I need you to offer it and prepare it, but you have to care as much as you have to care enough for the 40 people that used to run this, and now y'all are a couple.
That's right.
And in some aspects, I think they're just like, hey, our job really right now is we have to put it out there and offer it. Yeah. What people make of it is still the people that are going to be involved in it. I think that was the biggest difference that I've seen was when I was a kid, and I'll have my dad here tomorrow, and he was a commissioner. I remember him being a commissioner over at Hoover and Milraney over Junior League, and I'm running the scoreboard every night, and we're getting chicken sandwiches, and we're staying there from the time that it was from 5 o'clock before the first game all the way to 9:30 at the end of the last game, turning off the lights, game, whether I'm playing that night or not. You just had people there, and you had the Randy Mullicans, you had the Carl Boldens, the Jeff McGee's, all those guys that were, when I was growing up, that were over there. Who's the next generation?
That's right.
Who's going to be the next people to do that? I mean, I'll say this all the time. It's my generation that's dropped the ball. It's us 30 to 40s that we have to go out there and do that.
Yeah.
But, we could talk about that forever.
That's right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
We could talk about it forever. I wish there would be better, if the recreation department is really interested. Yeah. Make some overtures and seeing how they can regenerate that.
Yeah.
And they have to buy into letting that happen because now they've got the control.
Yeah.
Before, when it was the recreation department, the commissioners had the control. We just provided the fields and the opportunity for them to get on there. We had no real control over it. We were aware of the things, and we obviously wouldn't let them violate any guidelines that the city had, but we didn't have to worry about the commission. We didn't have to worry about getting umpires. We didn't have to worry about any of that. We did patrol we didn't want anybody being irate or obviously and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the case. I'm hoping that's whatever it would take. I hope it would come back. I do want to bring up one other thing before I think that we leave this. I am concerned in some ways about the recreation department because I'm always take myself back to when the Civic Center was really put into place.
Yeah.
The Civic Center was controversial from very jump go. There's lots of people involved. J.W. Anderson, Charles Jacobs, Pete Holt. You can name several that a lot of people may not remember, but I do. But their concept was that we want a facility built where community can come together.
A civic center.
Either it be just a community room, or it be if we wanted a bigger event, we could have it inside. I know our annual meetings with Caney Fork was held there for a number of years, and other facilities, and they still do that to some degree. But we'd also have a place for all the kids to come year round. They could walk in that door. If they wanted to check out a basketball, they could. They wanted to play some games. We had a game rooms. We had ping ball. You can check out. We had a little bit of a racquetball court upstairs. Yeah. It wasn't real good, but it was all right. And I remember the first, of course, I wanted on there just short of 2 years. Sometimes it was we were overflowing.
Yeah.
And that, because you were kids, was just that was a place to come. That was a place for the kids to come. We really had to watch it, and sometimes we had to call our rental cops and stuff and get them to come over and help us because they were just some. But we handled it, and we didn't charge them one dime.
Yeah.
Every time, every day, and then and you could still reserve a court.
Yeah.
And if there might be a little fee, but we wouldn't let every court be reserved.
There would be space for
there would be space for kids. And then if you were a part of a program, and if there was nobody there, you didn't have to pay nothing. That was never.
Yeah.
We had fees broken out in for rooms only if there was like a party for a birthday party or things like that. Otherwise, you could use that facility free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the way the concept was on the origination of it. I know because I was in on the meetings of those that talked about it. This is how we want it run.
Yeah.
Controversy was, Civic Center was right from the very beginning. Several of the board members were against it. They actually tried to sell the Civic Center to the school at one point because they just, didn't want to fund it. And it was $1.2 million to build it, and it was a strain there for a long time. But we ran it the way they wanted it run. Today, you walk up there for a child to go in there and shoot a basketball, $5.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the people that are running it right now. It has to do with the board over time saying, how can we get a little more revenue out of this?
Yeah.
Well, you decided that when you decided, well, this building is getting old, we've got to do some things. I guess I don't know how old's the Milner Center now. 5 years old.
Milner Center would have been right around about COVID. So I would say somewhere between 6 and 8 years old.
Okay.
Because I was doing the sports authority back then. Yeah.
All right. At that point, you said, all right, we built a building at $1.2 million, and it's seeing its age, and we need a lot of renovations. You could have renovated it. This is my opinion, for a few million anyway. Certainly not $9 million.
Yeah, not the price tag.
All right. Now let's say you had taken that route and say let's do it for $4 million.
Yeah. We
got $5 million in it then, and save $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use that $4 million and let them kids come in there and play for nothing.
Wow. Well. Yeah.
Because that $5. Even though it goes a little bit toward it, it don't pay anything. So, but if you had a recreation department and you've got a recreation department that's going to pay for itself, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
The business that the recreation department in is to provide for the community opportunities, old and young, to be able to go there and be healthy, enjoy themselves, make it a community that's worth living in. And that was one of the attraction points that Civic Center was first built, was that it would be a draw, not only for the community, but for economic development. Because here you got a place that you can actually come and do stuff.
Yeah.
And, if somebody, let's say if you're building a plant or a business and you say, well, I need to find a nice community to go to.
Yeah.
And they say, well, but to find any recreation, you got to go to Manchester. You got to go to Murfreesboro. Well, you've already may have kicked yourself out of an opportunity. So it was a drawing point. Not that it was the key point, obviously not, but it's certainly a partial part of it. And we were way ahead of the game. The Civic Center was way ahead of the game. We dropped the ball when we decided, in my opinion, that we needed a complex bigger than. And we'll let the police department, we'll let some of the others kind of get the back seat so we can get this grandiose Civic Center, which to me is not even more grandiose. I mean, it's bigger.
Yeah.
And it's nice. But now who attends it? Whenever I go over there and I play pickleball, I'm a senior, therefore it just costs me $3.
Yeah.
And only thing, I'd be willing to pay the $5 if I could cut it down for the kids that are coming in for $2 because I can afford it. They can't.
Yeah.
Or the parents of I've got 4 kids. What if I was bringing 4 kids over there shoot basketball? It cost me $20.
Wow. Yeah. And you're hoping that another family might have $20 too, so they actually could play against somebody. Otherwise, you're like, hey, I'm just gonna have my 4 kids.
We were over there yesterday and enjoyed the pickleball, enjoyed the complex, enjoyed it, and was accomplishing what I did. But I can afford it.
Yeah,
I can do it. I do. I can take part of other recreation facilities. I can go down to Riverfront Park, which is free. Yep. They're providing beautiful. I can do other things. I can bring my kids up to play on the playground. All that's free. The Civic Center's not free. Mm. It bothers me. Yeah. It bothers me because that's not what the original concept was for the Civic Center being built. We got away from it. We didn't want to figure out we wanted to make it a YMCA, or we wanted to make it something else, and you get the piece, just pay the fees, and we'll just defray. They are not, that money that they bring in for the fees that people walk through the door is not paying for that thing. No, obviously not. It's not deferring it all that much anyway. No. They could have figured out a way and still let them go in there and still had it free. And if they hadn't spent so much money on it, they can just say, all right. But they feel pressure. Yeah. They being the commission saying they feel pressure. Well, they should have done it if they weren't going to face the pressure. Yeah. You talking about Charles Jenkins and J.W. Anderson when they originally came up with the idea, because they're the fathers of the Civic Center, in my opinion. They're the fathers of it. If you didn't want them to make, you should have stopped it then. Yeah. Because now not the time to stop it, because they got it going. I'm on my soapbox, and I'm sorry.
I love it.
But I'm telling you that we should not charge those children that walk in there today 1 red cent for shooting a basketball. You should give that. You should check it off and be proud that you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Rather than a commission that's already looking at how they can adjust their fees to accommodate other things. They said, well, what can we do to make a little more money here, a little more money there? That would have, if you hadn't spent $9 million, you wouldn't be worrying about it. You could have spent the minute to maintain it and keep it going, because it served its purpose as a regular civic center. It needed maintenance. It always needs maintenance. Everybody thinks it needs maintenance. But the people in the know, in the positions, what the thought process is not, how can we provide to our community something that everybody can participate in? That to me that didn't either cross their mind or it was rejected one. I don't know.
I think there was some ideas that in ways we forgot. It's still to me, it's still a service. And I was like, we as a community, as city taxpayers, as county taxpayers, we understand that in aspects. I don't mind if my taxpaying money goes to pay for the Parks and Rec, and it operates at, or people are like, well, it's not operating at a break even or a profit. It's a loss. I'm like, I don't care. I just want it to be a service. I was like, that's what I want it to be. And if it means that, like you said, if someone told me that would be, I know that this is going to get people going. Like, if someone was like, well, we're going to have to raise a little bit of tax. So if you're telling me it's going to make our civic center free, or our youth sports cost a lot less, yeah, I'll pay a little bit more in taxes. I know people are going to be like, oh, here we go. He's raising taxes. I got a few. We'll have to bring you on for another show, because we didn't even get to anything about Caney Fork. But I do have to ask one thing about this. Okay. Do squirrels really knock out electricity this much?
Yeah.
You were there for over 30 years.
Absolutely.
The squirrel problem.
Get them squirrels out.
But no,
they'll get in. We had a snake knock out a big transformer up there in Smithville one time, one of the big ones in one of the substations, and they took out the whole thing, and we didn't have a backup and had to wait for a while. But anyway, squirrels and snakes and stuff, they get on those poles where those insulators and where everything kind of comes together. And they They pay the price, but you do too.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I think that, I mean, it just happened not too long ago. A couple comments in the comment section right now. Brent Carden, Terry Mullican is a Warren County legend and a true blessing in my life as well as in many others. Franklin Fisher says, Terry could whoop most people in the game of racquetball. He said, I know because I was one of the ones he would beat back in the day when those there. And then, of course, Alex Van Buren also said, Papa Terry in the house. Again, too, you get to play the role of granddad a lot now, too. And you're going all the way. You're going around. Y'all are going to games. I see y'all all the time at these new events. You know, what's been the sporting event that you've been able to take your kids or your grandkids to that you'll just say, man, that might have been the coolest thing that we got to attend? Because you've been to national championship games, all this. What are some of the most fun trips you've been?
Well, I guess where I was able to take everybody was the Braves baseball game, and I've done that a few times. Mm-hmm. Of course, but Ansley's real good about manipulating her papa, and she needed somebody to go to the national football game up when LSU played, and they won it in many years, and mm-hmm. she could get us tickets. Yeah, of course she couldn't pay for them, but she could get them. And get us a place and everything, and so we did that, and I went with her on that, and we've been to several games. Of course, I've had Titans tickets. I didn't renew them when they made the big change, but there for a period of time we had some tickets that I'd alternate taking my grandkids to and my children to. And then one year we took everybody to Disney. Of course, that's not sports, but that's a big deal. Yeah,
Disney's always.
But anyway, they're all special. And then we got some great grandkids coming up that they're just as special. If we can live a few more years, maybe we can see them. We saw Waylon come of age.
Yeah,
that was fun. Watching
Turned 3 and became a soccer star all of a sudden.
He had a goal and he reached it.
There might have been some financial influence.
There was a lot of yeah.
Yeah, again too. I think that's you've as Brent Carden said, you're a true blessing in life to a lot of people, including your family, but not just your family, but what you've done for the community and help people. That I think we've talked about a lot today. But I appreciate you coming on. We're going to have to bring you back on because I think I think we're just scratching the surface on a couple of these topics, including you probably could tell about 1,000 stories on Ann's. We give her a hard time all the time about this, but we did just have the Warren County Sports Hall of Fame thing that came up this weekend. I think Ann's has to be in there at some point.
Oh, I think so.
I know. You don't have to.
Her.
Yeah,
I love her to death.
Yeah,
she complains. She complains that we dressed her like a tomboy when she was growing up. So now poor little Wesleyan has to wear a ribbon wherever she goes. So she's paying us back, I think, for that.
Yeah, paying that. Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for that. Again, to our presenting sponsor of the Simmons Says Show, that is Mud Bums Family Sports Grill, open right now, 507-2867. That is 507 Bums. If you want to give them a call, go and pick up a lunch right now over there at Northgate Drive, or you can go over there tonight where they will have wing nights. They got their wing specials and all the other things that you can get at Mud Bums. Of course, they'll have live music this weekend. I think Cecil Shields will be in there singing some old country tunes over there at Mud Bums. Thanks so much. We'll be back tomorrow with Father and Son Friday. I think we're actually going to take it maybe on the road over to Mud Bums tomorrow and do a live remote from Mud Bums with my dad and myself. So again, 10:30 tomorrow on Friday with the Simmons Says Show. Terry Mullican, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yep, we'll be back tomorrow.
Down there at the Legion Hall, well, they'd be fighting over me. They're being deprived of all my charm and my company. Well, I ain't handsome, but I damn sure like to be. Well, I got problems.